Welcome to One Goal English Podcast. Your journey to fluent English starts here.
So I want you to imagine that you are sitting at this really small, incredibly uncomfortable desk.
Tiny school desks where you can barely fit your knees under it.
Exactly. And you have this newly sharpened pencil in your hand.
Right.
You are taking this massive, comprehensive written English exam. And I mean, you are just absolutely destroying it.
You're just totally in the zone.
You are. You're nailing the complex conditional verb tenses. You are conquering all those tricky prepositions.
It feels great.
It does. You literally feel like a linguistic genius. But then, you hand in the paper, you walk outside into the bright sunlight, and someone on the street simply looks at you and asks for the time.
And boom, everything stops.
You freeze your jaw locks up, your heart starts hammering against your ribs.
It's terrifying.
It really is. Your mind, which just seconds ago held like thousands of vocabulary words, goes completely and terrifyingly blank.
You just lose access to everything.
Yeah, and you manage to mumble something totally incomprehensible and practically run away. Listen, if you have ever experienced that exact sequence of events, I need you to hear this immediately.
We are talking directly to you.
Yes, you are not alone, and it is absolutely not a flaw in your intelligence.
It is incredibly common. I mean, it's actually the single most frustrating experience for any adult language learner.
So, welcome to a very special deep dive here on One Goal English. I am your host, and today we are stepping entirely away from the grammar drills.
Throw them out.
Seriously, put down the vocabulary flashcards. We have gathered this massive stack of linguistic research, psychological profiles of adult learners, and actual neurological data.
All to answer one very specific question.
Right. Why does our brain shut down when we try to speak? And how do we build the absolute confidence to overcome it?
Because we are on a mission today. We want to give you the exact psychological tools to destroy your speaking fear forever.
Okay, let's unpack this, because we're going to dig into the literal biology of what happens in those moments of panic.
Yeah, because when you understand the mechanics of the fear, you can actually dismantle it. But to do that, we really have to start by completely redefining this whole concept of confidence.
It's so misunderstood.
Totally. When we look at the data on how adult language learners view themselves, it becomes obvious that, the vast majority of us have the definition of confidence completely backwards.
I mean, I know I definitely fall into that category too.
Most people do.
Because logically, I assume confidence is like the reward you get at the end of the journey.
Like a prize.
Yeah. The internal monologue is always something like, okay, once I memorize these 3,000 words, and once my accent is totally undetectable.
Right, once I'm perfect.
Exactly. Once I can conjugate every verb without hesitating, then I will allow myself to feel confident. It really feels like a trophy.
It feels like an end state.
Yeah.
But the research points to the exact opposite reality. True confidence isn't a reward for being perfect.
It's not.
Not at all. True confidence is the willingness to speak before you are perfect.
Oh, wow. Before you're perfect.
Right. It is not this magical emotional state that just descends upon you after 10 years of studying in a dark room. It is a highly practical mechanical tool.
So it's a tool you use to get better, not the result of getting better.
Exactly. It is the raw decision to open your mouth and share a thought when you explicitly know your vocabulary is limited and your grammar is flawed.
So we are treating confidence as the prerequisite, not the outcome. Let me see if I can map this onto something physical, like let's use a car analogy.
I love a good car analogy.
Right. So if we look at language learning like building a car, grammar and vocabulary are the engine.
Okay, I'm with you.
You can sit in a classroom for a decade building this multi-million-dollar Ferrari engine. It is pristine. I mean, every single grammatical rule is perfectly machined and in the exact right place.
It looks beautiful on paper.
It really does.
Yeah.
But if confidence is the fuel and your tank is empty, that multi-million-dollar machine is never leaving the driveway.
That is a phenomenal way to visualize it. You just have a very expensive, very heavy piece of metal sitting there.
Doing nothing.
Exactly. And the profiles of learners in our research stack bear this out perfectly. You consistently see two distinct types of learners. Let's call the first one Learner A.
Okay, learner A.
Learner A has that Ferrari engine. They get 100% on every written proficiency test. They know the mechanics of the language better than most native speakers, honestly.
It's you fuel.
Zero fuel. When faced with a real human being, they stay completely silent.
What's a real world result of that?
Absolute isolation. They never connect. They never build relationships in that target language.
That is so sad, but it's so common. And then there is learner B. I think we all know a learner B in our lives.
Oh, definitely.
They have a terrible engine. I mean, it's practically duct taped together. They mix up the past and present tense in the exact same sentence. They use the wrong pronouns constantly.
Total mechanical chaos.
Their fuel tank is overflowing. They have massive confidence. And because of that, they are out in the world making friends, negotiating prices at foreign markets, navigating subways, and actually communicating.
Right. Learner B is using the language for its actual evolutionary purpose, which is human connection, which tells us that confidence is ultimately a choice you make, completely regardless of your skill level.
I hear you, but I have to push back on that a little bit.
Go for it.
If confidence is just a choice, like if I can just wake up today and decide to have a full tank of gas, why doesn't it feel like a choice?
What do you mean?
Well, when I step up to a counter to order a coffee in a second language, my body isn't reacting like I'm making a casual choice.
Your body is freaking out.
Yeah, my palms are sweating, my stomach drops, my cortisol spikes. Why does my biology treat ordering a cappuccino like a genuine survival threat?
Because to your brain's fear center, it literally is a survival threat.
Wait, really? A survival threat?
Yes. We have to look at how you were conditioned. There are two deeply ingrained psychological roots causing that intense physical reaction. The first root is what the data calls the classroom trap.
A classroom trap. Okay, explain that.
I want you to think about how you were first introduced to learning. In a traditional academic environment, mistakes are heavily penalized.
Oh, totally. Red ink everywhere.
Right. If you speak up in class and use the wrong preposition, you are publicly corrected. On a test, a mistake means a bright red X and a lower grade. Your worth in that room is tied entirely to accuracy.
Wait, so you're saying we have essentially been traumatized by the grading system, like it's a Pavlovian response?
Precisely. After thousands of hours in that environment, your brain wires a direct neurological pathway. It learns that English equals testing, testing equals the potential for public failure, and public failure equals a threat to your social survival.
That makes so much sense.
So you aren't just ordering a coffee. Your subconscious thinks you are standing in front of a chalkboard waiting to be humiliated by your teacher.
Wow, that explains the physical anxiety so perfectly. But what about the feeling of, well, stupidity?
The ego hit.
Yeah. Even when I'm just talking to a really friendly person who isn't judging me, I feel this immense frustration because I know I am a smart person, but I sound like a toddler.
That brings us to the second and arguably more devastating root of the fear, the social shift.
The social shift.
Think about your identity in your native language. You are a fully formed adult. You have a complex career. You have nuanced political opinions. You have a specific, witty sense of humor.
Right. I command respect in my native language.
Exactly. But the millisecond you switch to your target language, that entire identity is just stripped away. You are suddenly restricted to a 50-word vocabulary. You can't make jokes. You can barely express your basic human needs.
It's the ultimate vulnerability. You go from being this highly competent professional to pointing at a pastry in a bakery and just grunting, "Me want that."
Right, and the ego just cannot handle that severe of a demotion.
It violently rejects it.
It does. And this rejection triggers a very specific, documented biological mechanism.
Yeah.
Linguists refer to this phenomenon as the affective filter.
Okay, I've seen this term in the research, the affective filter. How does it actually work in the brain?
Visualize the affective filter as a thick physical brick wall that exists right between your memory storage and your active processing center.
Okay, a brick wall.
When you are sitting on your couch wearing sweatpants, watching a movie alone, you feel totally safe. Your heart rate is low. In that relaxed state, the affective filter is completely lowered.
So the language flows out of my memory banks
Yeah.
effortlessly.
Exactly. But the second you step into a social situation where you feel that vulnerability, where you feel judged or reduced to a childlike state,
My amygdala fires.
yes, it releases stress hormones, and that invisible brick wall shoots up instantly.
So wait, the vocabulary doesn't actually disappear, it's just blocked.
It is physically blocked by your own neurochemistry. That is exactly why you can stumble through a terrible, awkward conversation, walk away feeling totally defeated, and then 10 minutes later,
While I'm standing alone in the elevator.
yes, while you are alone in the elevator, the perfect, eloquent English sentence just magically pops into your head.
The knowledge was always sitting right there in my brain.
Always.
That is maddening, because it means the solution isn't to buy another grammar textbook or, study more flashcards.
Not at all.
If the knowledge is already there, our primary goal has to be learning how to dismantle that brick wall. We
Right.
have to learn how to regulate our nervous system in real time.
We do. Because if we don't keep that affective filter down, a catastrophic chain reaction happens to the brain. The blocked vocabulary is really just the first symptom.
What's the secondary symptom?
Complete system failure, which neurologists call cognitive overload.
Oh man, I want to dig into this because
Okay.
here's where it gets really interesting. This explains the exact moment the brain just goes into pure white noise.
It's a system crash.
Yeah, I picture it like a computer. You have an older laptop and you open up 20 different heavy internet tabs all at once.
And it starts lagging.
Exactly. You are trying to render a 4K video while running a massive spreadsheet. Eventually, the internal fan starts screaming, the cursor freezes on the screen, and the whole machine just hard crashes and reboots.
That is exactly what it feels like standing in front of a native speaker. The computer RAM analogy is scientifically accurate.
Really?
Yes. The human brain has a finite amount of working memory. When you are standing there trying to speak a second language while your affective filter is active, your brain isn't just trying to talk.
What is it doing?
It is frantically juggling 5 computationally massive jobs simultaneously in a matter of milliseconds.
5 jobs. Break down exactly what the processor is trying to do. I want to hear this.
Right. Job number 1 is active listening. You are trying to parse the rapid connected sounds the native speaker is making.
Right, just decoding the audio?
Job number 2 is translation inbound. You are taking those English sounds and desperately translating them into your native language inside your head so you can understand the meaning.
Which takes a massive amount of energy.
Exactly. Then job number 3 is formulation. You are now using your native language to craft a clever, appropriate response.
Okay, so I formulated my response in my native tongue.
Right. Now for job number 4, translation outbound. You are taking that newly formed native sentence and trying to force it back into English vocabulary.
Oh, this is exhausting just listening to it.
And we aren't done. Finally, job number 5, the grammar check. Before you even open your mouth, you are scanning that translated sentence for subject-verb agreement, proper preposition usage, and correct pronunciation.
Listening, translating in, formulating, translating out, and auditing. 5 incredibly heavy processes running at the exact same time.
In milliseconds.
No wonder the system overheats. We are demanding more processing power than the human brain actually possesses.
It is an impossible task, and the typical learner's response is just to try harder, right? To squeeze their eyes shut, sweat, and try to force the brain to run faster.
But that never works.
Never. The secret to beating cognitive overload isn't upgrading your biological processor. The secret is simply closing some of those open tabs.
Okay, so we have to remove steps from that sequence.
Specifically, the internal translation steps.
But wait, how do I just stop translating? That feels like telling someone to just stop breathing.
It does feel like that at first.
If the translation tabs are open because my brain demands perfection, how do I close them?
You cannot close those tabs mechanically until you address them psychologically. Your brain is running that exhausting 5-step process because it believes absolute perfection is required to survive the social interaction.
Oh, because of the survival threat we talked about.
Exactly. We have to violently smash the toxic myths that demand that perfection. Until we destroy those myths, the effective filter stays up forever.
Okay, let's take a wrecking ball to these myths right now. I want to go through the most common ones I hear from struggling learners and look at what the linguistic data actually says.
Let's do it.
Myth number 1 is the big one. The paralyzing belief that to be a valid, successful English speaker, you must sound exactly like a native. You must completely eradicate your accent or people will mock you.
The data thoroughly rejects this. First of all, we have to look at the reality of modern English.
Right, it's global.
Exactly. English no longer belongs to England or America or Australia. It is the global lingua franca. Statistically, non-native speakers outnumber native speakers by a massive margin.
Wait, really? By a massive margin?
Yes. When you do international business, you are far more likely to be speaking English to someone from Brazil or Germany than someone from London.
So the idea of a standard native accent is becoming totally irrelevant anyway.
Completely irrelevant. But more importantly, from a psychological standpoint, viewing your accent as a mistake is a tragedy.
I completely agree.
Your accent is not a failure of pronunciation. Your accent is the audible footprint of your life's journey. It tells the story of your heritage, your mother tongue, and the immense effort you have put into learning a new system.
It's a badge of honor.
It is something to be revered, not erased. As long as your pronunciation is clear enough to be understood, the accent itself is a beautiful characteristic.
I absolutely love that reframing. An accent is a footprint, not a flaw. Okay, let's hit myth number 2.
Ready?
The terrifying illusion that native speakers are the grammar police. The belief that when you walk up to a native speaker, they have this mental red pen and they are aggressively analyzing your sentence structure, waiting to deduct points.
This goes right back to the classroom trap. We assume the world acts like our strict high school English teacher.
Right.
But human beings in the real world are incredibly empathetic, and they are exceptionally lazy listeners.
Lazy listeners, I like that.
They are. They are not parsing your syntax. They are only scanning for meaning. They just want to know what you need, how you feel, or what idea you're trying to convey.
Let's test that logic. If someone approaches me on the street in my home city and their first language isn't English and they say, "Excuse me, where is train?"
What do?
I don't look at them in disgust and think, wow, they missed the definite article, what an absolute fool.
Of course not.
No. I immediately point them toward the train station, and I actually respect the fact that they are navigating my city in a second language.
Exactly. You feel an innate desire to help, not to grade them. The desire for human connection overrides grammatical scrutiny every single time.
Which brings us to myth number 3, which is the most mathematically frustrating one. The idea that you cannot start speaking until you have a dictionary-sized vocabulary.
The 20,000 word myth.
Yes, the belief that you need 20,000 words before you are magically ready.
We can definitively crush this one with hard linguistic data. Look at Zipf's law and corpus linguistics.
Okay, what does the math say?
The research consistently shows that a tiny fraction of the vocabulary makes up the vast majority of daily speech. You can comfortably handle roughly 80% of all real-world daily conversations with just the 1,000 most common English words.
Just 1,000.
Just 1,000. You do not need to know the English word for photosynthesis to make a profound connection with a stranger at a coffee shop.
But if we believe these myths, if we think we need no accent, perfect grammar, and infinite vocabulary, we fall directly into what the psychological profiles call the perfection trap.
It's a dangerous place to be.
It is this delusion that if I just study silently in my room for 3 more years, a magical, perfect day will arrive. I will step outside, open my mouth, and flawless English will just pour out without a single error.
And as coaches, we have to deliver a hard truth to the listener right now.
Tell them
that perfect day is a hallucination. It simply does not exist. If you are waiting for the day when you will never make a mistake, you will be waiting in silence until the end of your life.
It feels exactly like trying to learn how to swim on dry land.
Oh, that's a great comparison.
Imagine I want to learn to swim, so I buy a textbook on aquatic dynamics. I sit on a comfortable lounge chair next to the pool for 5 years. I study the physics of water displacement.
Taking detailed notes.
Right. I memorize the exact optimal angle my hand should enter the water for the perfect freestyle stroke. I ace written tests on swimming. And then, after 5 years, I confidently jump into the deep end of the pool. What is going to happen?
You are going to panic, your muscles will freeze, and you will immediately sink like a stone.
Because you cannot learn the physical reality of a chaotic environment by reading a book in a sterile environment. You have to jump into the cold, messy water.
You have to thresh around a bit.
Yes. You have to swallow some water, look a little uncoordinated. Speaking a language is identical. You must jump into the chaotic, imperfect waters of real human conversation today.
And when you finally do jump into that messy water, you experience a massive paradigm shift. You suddenly realize that successfully communicating with another human being is a completely different sport than being grammatically accurate.
I want to spend some serious time unpacking that distinction because people use the words fluency and confidence interchangeably, and the data shows they're fundamentally different mechanisms.
They operate on entirely different timelines. Fluency is a mechanical state. It is the neurological ability to retrieve words instantly, string them together with correct syntax, and produce the physical sound without hesitation.
Which takes a long time.
Because it relies on building dense neural pathways, true fluency takes years of consistent compounding practice.
Okay, but what about confidence?
Confidence, however, is an emotional state. It is the raw bravery to use whatever broken, limited tools you currently have in your toolbox to get your point across. Fluency takes years. Deciding to be confident takes exactly 1 millisecond.
Let's build a vivid scenario to prove that confidence matters more than fluency in a crisis. Listeners, I want you to visualize this.
Paint the picture.
You have just endured a grueling 15-hour flight. You land in a massive, chaotic foreign airport. You are exhausted. You stand at the baggage carousel for over an hour, watching the bags go round and round.
The worst feeling.
Their bag never appears. All your clothes, your important documents, they are gone. You have to go to the customer service desk.
This is the ultimate crucible for our two types of learners. Let's send learner A down the first path. We'll call this accurate but silent.
Okay, accurate but silent.
Learner A knows exactly how to construct the perfect English sentence for this crisis. In their head, they formulate, "Excuse me, I deeply regret to inform you that my checked baggage has failed to materialize at the designated carousel."
It is grammatically flawless.
But because they are terrified of mispronouncing materialize and looking foolish, their affective filter shoots up. They freeze. They stare at the busy agent, panic, and walk away.
So what is the real-world outcome?
The outcome is devastating. They leave the airport with nothing. Their beautiful grammar did not save them.
Now let's look at learner B walking down the path of inaccurate but communicative.
I love learner B.
Learner B has terrible grammar, but they have a full tank of confidence fuel. They march straight up to that busy, intimidating desk. They lock eyes with the agent, point aggressively toward the empty carousel, and they say, "Hello, my bag no here, red color, big, help."
Now, if we connect this to the bigger picture, let's analyze the data of that interaction. Was learner B's grammar correct?
Absolutely not.
It lacked verbs, articles, proper syntax.
But did the communication succeed?
Yes. The airport agent understands perfectly.
Exactly. They will type into their system, locate the red bag, and solve the problem. The ultimate victory in any language is successful communication. It is getting your red bag back. It is never winning a grammar trophy.
I love that. Getting the bag back needs to be the new metric for success. And, the group of humans who inherently understand this better than anyone else on Earth are children.
Children are the ultimate language hackers.
If we want the blueprint for how to actually acquire a language quickly, we have to look at the psychology of a 3-year-old.
It is the ultimate case study. A 3-year-old does not lock themselves in their bedroom with a syntax workbook. They do not experience the social shift because they have no adult ego to protect.
They just go for it. A toddler operates purely on trial, error, and interaction. If a toddler sees a dog walking down the street, they might confidently point at it and yell, "Look, a cow!"
And the reaction of the environment is key here. The parents don't pull out a red pen and give the kid a failing grade. They laugh, they smile affectionately, and they provide instant, gentle feedback. They say, "No, honey, that's a dog."
And notice what the toddler does next. The toddler doesn't burst into tears of shame. They don't vow to never speak again.
Right, their world doesn't end.
They simply process the new data point. They update their internal mental dictionary, replacing cow with dog, and they happily move on to the next fascinating thing. They are learning with pure, unadulterated curiosity and zero ego.
We have to actively reclaim that childlike lack of ego, because that is the only way we can embrace what I call the math of mistakes.
The math of mistakes.
I want to challenge you on this, though, because a lot of adult learners here embrace mistakes, and they think, well, if I just go around speaking terrible English on purpose, won't my brain just permanently wire in bad grammar? How does making an error actually help me improve?
It comes down to the neuroplasticity triggered by surprise.
Surprise.
Yes. When you confidently say a sentence that contains a mistake and a native speaker or a coach corrects you, your brain experiences a micro spike of emotional surprise. It's a tiny jolt because your expectation didn't match reality.
Oh, that makes sense.
Neurologically, that spike of surprise releases neurotransmitters that act like a chemical highlighter over that specific moment. It accelerates the building of myelin around that neural pathway.
Just sticks better.
Exactly. Because the mistake was attached to an emotional spike, it gets cemented into your long-term memory far faster than if you had just read the rules silently in a book.
So the mistake itself is the catalyst for the memory. That is pure, undeniable mathematics. If learner A stays silent out of fear, they get 0 data points.
0 growth.
But if learner B goes out and confidently makes 100 mistakes in a single day, they are creating 100 chemically highlighted memories. They are literally forcing their brain to adapt 100 times faster.
Exactly. You have to start viewing mistakes not as crimes that you are committing, but as high-value data points that you are aggressively collecting.
Okay, this all sounds incredibly motivating in theory. The mindset makes sense, but let's bring this down to the street level.
Let's get practical.
What happens mechanically when the conversation is moving at 100 miles an hour and my brain inevitably freezes? Because even native speakers forget words. When my brain computer stalls, I need practical, actionable tools to keep the communication alive.
You do. You need an emergency toolkit. Confident, fluent speakers don't have perfect memories, they just have better recovery strategies.
What's the first tool?
The first and most powerful tool in that kit is a cognitive strategy called circumlocution.
Circumlocution. Let's break that down.
It literally means talking around something. When an anxious learner forgets a specific word, their ego traps them. They stop the entire conversation, stare at the ceiling, and desperately search their mental dictionary for that one perfect word while an agonizing silence builds.
I've been there. It's awful.
But a confident speaker immediately abandons the lost word. They instantly pivot and use 3 or 4 incredibly simple words to describe the complex thing they forgot.
Let me test this out. Let's say I'm telling you a story about my car breaking down on the highway. I want to say I had to take it to the mechanic.
Okay.
But the word mechanic completely vanishes from my brain. Instead of panicking and saying, I took it to the, I use circumlocution, I use basic words I already know, I say, I had to take my car to the person who fixes cars when they are broken.
Spot on. And what happens next? I, as the native speaker, instantly process your description. I understand your meaning perfectly. I will naturally supply the missing word for you. I'll say, oh, you took it to the mechanic.
And the story continues.
The story continues without losing any momentum. Let's try another one. You're at a restaurant, the bill arrives, but you realize you forgot the word wallet.
Okay, I don't panic. I don't look up the translation on my phone while the waiter waits. I just gesture to my pocket and say, I am so sorry, I left my small leather bag that holds my money at my house.
Brilliant. The waiter smiles, says, "Your wallet, no problem," and you have successfully communicated. Circumlocution is the ultimate cheat code for bypassing a frozen vocabulary.
That is incredibly empowering. But what about when I'm on the receiving end? One of the biggest problems for anxious learners is that when a native speaker talks to them, they get so overwhelmed that they just give a one-word answer to end the interaction as fast as possible.
Yes, the one-word answer is a classic defense mechanism, but it completely kills the conversation. To solve this, you need the second tool in your kit, the echo and ask strategy.
Echo and ask.
This technique allows you to be a fantastic conversationalist without needing to invent complex sentences on the spot.
Let's do a role-play contrast to show how this works. I will be the native speaker and I'll approach you. Hey, I went to this amazing Italian restaurant over the weekend. If you are the anxious learner, how do you respond?
I look at the floor, try to shrink into my jacket, and I just mutter, "Nice."
And then the silence is deafening. The energy falls off a cliff and I awkwardly walk away.
It's a conversation killer.
Now let's rewind. I say the exact same thing. Hey, I went to this amazing Italian restaurant over the weekend, but this time use the echo and ask strategy.
I take a piece of your sentence, repeat it back to you, and attach a simple question. So I respond, "An Italian restaurant? That sounds great. What did you order?"
Look at how brilliant that is mechanically. By echoing the phrase "an Italian restaurant," you are buying your processor a crucial 2 seconds of time to formulate your next thought.
It gives you a breather.
And by ending with "what did you order?" Oh wait, you immediately throw the spotlight back onto me. I am the one doing the heavy lifting of the conversation now. You just get to relax and listen.
It keeps the flow alive while minimizing your cognitive burden. But to truly minimize that burden permanently, we have to look at the third and most vital tool. This is how we actually restructure the way you store data in your brain.
What's the tool?
We have to move away from single words and start using lexical chunks.
Lexical chunks. This is where we solve the problem of trying to build a house brick by brick while someone is watching you.
Exactly.
Because if I learn vocabulary as individual words, like the word piece, the word of, and the word cake, my brain has to do an insane amount of syntax processing to stitch them together in real time. I have to verify the grammar, the prepositions, the pluralization.
Learning isolated words is highly inefficient for spoken fluency. Lexical chunks are pre-assembled units of meaning. Instead of learning individual bricks, you memorize an entire pre-built wall.
So I just memorize the whole phrase.
You memorize the phrase "a piece of cake" as one single unbreakable item in your mental dictionary.
Why is that neurologically better? Doesn't that just mean I have more to memorize?
Because it completely bypasses the grammar processing center of your brain. When you pull up a lexical chunk, your brain does not check the syntax. It doesn't ask if "of" is the right preposition.
It just fires it off.
It just deploys the entire phrase instantly, exactly as a native speaker would say it. It dramatically reduces cognitive overload because you aren't building sentences from scratch. You are just pulling pre-made blocks off the shelf.
Okay, so we have completely reframed our mindset. We understand the math of mistakes. We have circumlocution and lexical chunks to survive the chaotic moments. But knowing the theory isn't enough.
No, you have to practice.
To get these lexical chunks so deeply wired into our nervous system that they fire automatically, we have to change what we do on a Tuesday morning. We have to look at the daily immersive habits of highly confident speakers. What are the actual mechanics of their daily routines?
Let's start with the physical reality of speaking. Confident learners understand that speaking a second language is quite literally a physical workout. Therefore, their first habit is reading out loud.
Explain the mechanism behind that, because I think a lot of people assume reading out loud is just for children in grade school.
Every language has a unique phonetic profile. English requires you to move your tongue, your lips, and your jaw in ways that your native language might never require.
Right, making entirely new sounds.
When you read an article or a book out loud, even when you are totally alone in your room, you are forcing your physical muscles to adapt to these new shapes. You are building myelin sheaths around the neural pathways connected to your vocal cords.
So it's athletic training.
It is pure physical muscle memory. When you finally go to speak to a real person, your jaw already knows the choreography.
You are literally warming up the biological machinery. But what about the data we put into that machinery? Because we have a core principle here. Input dictates output.
Yes. Listening is the silent, invisible bridge to fluent speaking. Confident speakers immerse themselves in massive amounts of high-quality audio input. They are constantly listening to native podcasts like One Goal English or audiobooks.
And why does that work?
They do this because the subconscious brain is a pattern recognition machine. When you feed it hundreds of hours of natural English rhythm and intonation, you eventually reach a point where you stop thinking about grammar rules entirely. You just know that a certain sentence structure sounds right and another one sounds wrong.
It becomes intuitive, and we can hyper-accelerate that intuition using what I believe is the most powerful weapon in the language learning arsenal, the shadowing technique.
Yes, shadowing is incredible.
If a listener does absolutely nothing else after this deep dive, they need to start shadowing. Let's break down exactly how this hacks the brain's processing center.
Shadowing is an active, aggressive form of listening. The mechanics are simple but profound. You take a short piece of native audio, you listen to the speaker say one single sentence, you hit pause, and then you immediately repeat that sentence out loud, attempting to perfectly mimic everything they did.
You don't just repeat the words, you have to become a voice actor.
Exactly. You copy the exact pitch, the emotional tone, the speed, and where they place the stress in the sentence. By doing this, you are utilizing your brain's mirror neurons.
And this ties back to the tab metaphor, right?
Crucial to our earlier point about cognitive overload. Shadowing removes the burden of what to say. The script is already written. The grammar is flawless.
Because you don't have to invent the sentence, your brain can dedicate 100% of its processing power to how to physically articulate it.
You get to physically experience what it feels like to speak perfect, effortless English.
Which perfectly primes the brain for the final and perhaps most difficult immersive habit. We talked about closing those translation tabs in the brain to stop the computer from crashing. The ultimate habit is forcing yourself to think in English.
This one is huge.
But I hear complaints about this all the time. People say, I can't control my inner voice. It's automatically in my native tongue. How do we actually mechanically force the brain to switch operating systems?
You do not start by trying to debate philosophy in your head. That will instantly cause an overload. You start micro-small.
How small?
You start with isolated nouns in your immediate environment. Tomorrow morning, when you open your eyes, look around your bedroom. Bypass your native language entirely and just mentally label the physical objects. Look at the bed, think bed. Look at the door, think door. Walk into the bathroom, hold up the soap and think soap.
You are attaching the English word directly to the physical object rather than passing it through the translation filter.
Exactly. And once those single words feel natural, you upgrade to verbs and full chunks. You start narrating your daily chores as if you are the voiceover in a documentary about your own life.
So if I'm making breakfast,
narrate the actions out loud or in your head. I am opening the fridge. I am taking out the eggs. I am turning on the stove. By narrating your physical actions, you are training your brain to generate English output directly from your environment. The translation factory shuts down permanently.
Okay, this is the moment where we take all of this theory, the psychology, the lexical chunks, the shadowing, and we prove how it works on the street. We are going to dive deep into some real-life micro-victories because, as we said, confidence isn't built by giving a massive keynote speech to 1,000 people. Confidence is forged in tiny, 10-second, low-stakes interactions.
These micro-victories are the daily proof your brain needs to permanently lower the effective filter. Let's role-play these scenarios.
I love role plays.
I want to show what happens when we overcomplicate things and then contrast it with the power of simple lexical chunks. Let's start with a high-stress, sensory-heavy environment. a busy restaurant.
Okay, I am the hungry, anxious learner. You are the waiter.
Hi there, welcome in. Are you ready to order?
Okay, my instinct here, because I want to sound smart, is to construct a highly complex sentence. So I might try to say, I would be immensely gratified if you could provide me with the poultry and lettuce dish. But halfway through, I realize how unnatural that sounds. I forget the word for dressing, my brain crashes, and I just stare at you in panic.
Exactly. You aimed for academic perfection and triggered an overload. Now, rewind. Throw away the complex grammar. Just use a foundational lexical chunk. Try again. Are you ready to order?
Yes, I am. I'll have the grilled chicken salad, please.
Excellent choice. Would you like anything to drink with that?
Just a glass of ice water, thank you.
Breaking character here for a second. Look at how efficient that was. The chunk, I'll have the, is a master key. You memorize that one single chunk and you can confidently order 10,000 different items of any menu in the world. I'll have the steak, I'll have the soup. It requires zero on-the-spot grammar processing.
It felt completely effortless. Let's dial up the stakes. Let's go back to the airport. But this time, it's just a standard check-in. The anxiety is high because there is a massive line of angry travelers behind me, and I'm dealing with official security personnel. I don't want to mess up. You be the agent.
Next in line, please. Passport and boarding pass.
So again, the anxious response is to silently, awkwardly hand over the documents and avoid eye contact. But to build confidence, I need to speak. So I use a universally friendly chunk. Here you go.
Thank you. Do you have any bags to check today?
Just this one suitcase. Can I carry my backpack on the plane?
Yes, that's perfectly fine. Have a good flight.
Let's analyze. Here you go. It is such an organic, native-sounding phrase. It is endlessly better than saying, I am deeding these documents to you now. It establishes instant rapport. And asking, can I carry my mom, gets exactly the logistical information I need without any complicated conditional clauses.
Now let's look at a scenario we actively avoid out of fear. Retail shopping. We often dodge store clerks because we are terrified they will talk too fast or ask us complex questions. I will be the retail clerk.
Hi there, let me know if you need help finding anything.
Thank you. Actually, do you have this shirt in a medium size?
I'm not sure. Let me check the back inventory room for you.
I appreciate it. Take your time.
Okay, what is the psychological effect of that final chunk? Take your time is incredibly powerful. By saying that, I am actively lowering the stress level for both of us. It shows that I am in control of the social dynamic. I am not a panicked victim of the interaction. I am a calm, polite participant.
Let's move into social risk. School or university. The fear of peer rejection is intense here. Let's see the echo and ask strategy in a real-world application. You are the new student. I am your classmate.
Hi. Do you mind if I sit here?
No, go right ahead. I'm Sarah, by the way.
Nice to meet you, Sarah. I'm Leo. Did you finish the reading for today?
Barely. It was 40 pages long.
Time out. Notice how smoothly that shifted the burden of performance. I introduced myself, which is polite, but I immediately threw the ball into her court with a simple question about a shared experience. The reading assignment. I don't have to perform a monologue about my life history. She takes over the talking.
Now, the ultimate crucible. The professional workplace. The stakes feel life or death here because your livelihood is involved. You want to sound competent but not overly stiff. I am your boss. Leo, could you send me the quarterly report by 3 p.m.?
Absolutely. I just need to double check the final numbers, then I will email it over.
Perfect. Thanks for your hard work.
Starting with absolutely is such a power move. It projects total competence. And then I follow it with a simple statement of process. I just need to. No over-explaining, no desperate apologizing, clear, professional communication.
Let's do a geographical navigation scenario. You are lost in a new city. Your phone is dead. You have to ask a stranger on the street.
Excuse me, sorry to interrupt. I'm a bit lost. Could you point me toward the main train station?
Sure thing. Just walk down this street for 2 blocks, go past the bank and turn left. You can't miss it.
2 blocks, past the bank and a left. Thank you so much for your help.
That final response is a masterclass in comprehension checking. The most dangerous thing a language learner can do is the smile and nod.
Oh, the fake understanding.
You didn't just smile and say, okay, while secretly having no idea what I just said. You actively echoed the critical data back to me to verify it. That proves you are prioritizing accurate communication over protecting your ego.
And that naturally leads to the most important emergency tool of all, asking for clarification. Because we have all been in that terrifying situation where the native speaker talks at light speed, using slang we don't know, and we truly do not comprehend a single word they said. The instinct to just smile and nod is overwhelming because we don't want to look stupid.
But the smile and nod is a toxic habit. It leads to terrible misunderstandings, missed appointments, and deep embarrassment later. However, you also don't want to freeze and aggressively shout, "What?" like you're angry. You need polite, practiced chunks that smoothly ask for a reset.
Listeners, you need to write these down and shadow them until they are automatic. If you simply didn't process the words, use this chunk. I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch that. Could you say it again?
It's so smooth.
Notice the phrasing. I didn't say my English is bad, I don't understand. I said I didn't catch it. It implies the words just slipped by in the air. It preserves your dignity completely.
And if the issue is just raw speed, which is almost always the case with native speakers, confidently deploy this phrase. Would you mind speaking just a little bit slower for me? I guarantee you 99% of native speakers will instantly apologize, realize they were rushing, and clearly enunciate their next sentence. You are taking control of the pacing.
Once you master these micro victories, you can start proactively initiating conversations. You don't have to wait for people to talk to you. You can use incredibly low pressure starters. You don't walk up to a stranger and ask them about macroeconomics. You point at the sky and say, "This weather has been crazy lately, right?"
Or the power of a genuine compliment. "That is a great jacket. Where did you get it?" It disarms the other person instantly. It creates a micro connection that proves to your brain that social interaction in English is safe, positive, and rewarding.
These tiny 10-second interactions are the literal building blocks of a completely transformed life. And if you think we are just speaking in academic theories, we need to look at the undeniable proof. The data is full of case studies of learners who utilize these exact methods to completely change their trajectory.
Let's look at the profile of Maria from Spain. Maria's narrative is profoundly inspiring because it is so relatable.
I love Maria's story.
Maria was trapped in the academic system. She studied English formally for 10 solid years. She had immaculate grammar, but she was paralyzed by the perfection trap. When she finally relocated to London for her career, she realized her decade of studying was functionally useless because she was too terrified to speak in meetings. She was completely isolated.
So she had to manufacture her own micro-victories. She made a radical, terrifying decision. Her only goal was to approach one random stranger on the streets of London every single day and ask them for the time. That was it. One interaction.
The psychological courage required for day one cannot be overstated.
Exactly. On day one, her body is in full fight or flight mode. Her amygdala is screaming. She is sweating, her voice shakes, but she forces out the words, "Excuse me, do you have the time?" The stranger answers, she says thank you, and she walks away. She survived. But the magic is the consistency. She did it on day 2, day 5, day 10.
And what happened?
By day 14, the affective filter collapsed. Her brain recognized the pattern. I speak to strangers and I do not die. The fear vanished. Fast forward to today, and Maria is leading complex hour-long business negotiations in English. The secret is that she didn't memorize a single new grammar rule to achieve that. She just methodically expanded her psychological comfort zone.
It's a stunning example of behavioral exposure therapy. Now let's contrast that with a profile of cognitive reframing. Kenji from Japan. Kenji was being crushed by the weight of expectations. He was obsessed with not looking foolish. As a result, he sat in his English immersion classes in total agonizing silence.
Until he discovered the math of mistakes. He learned about the neuroplasticity of surprise, so he completely inverted his goals.
He weaponized his own failures. Kenji decided that his new daily goal wasn't to speak perfectly. His new goal was to intentionally make at least 5 glaring grammatical mistakes in front of the entire class every single day.
That is brilliant. By making the mistake the actual target, he instantly evaporated the pressure. Failing was no longer a threat, it was the objective.
The shift in his demeanor was immediate. The effective filter dropped entirely. He started raising his hand constantly. He would speak, he would make a mess of the sentence, the teacher would correct him, he would smile genuinely, update his mental database, and keep talking. Because he was collecting so many data points through trial and error, his mechanical fluency skyrocketed. Within a few months, the student who had been totally silent became the most communicative and fluent speaker in the room.
So we have dismantled the theory, we have given you the exact mechanical tools, and we have the undeniable proof of concept. Now, we are giving you the roadmap. We are laying out a comprehensive 30-day macro strategy to permanently rewire your brain for confidence.
This 30-day plan is structurally divided into 2 distinct phases to protect your ego while building the requisite skills. Weeks 1 and 2 comprise the solo phase. For 14 days, your goal is intense. Out loud practice entirely within the safety of your own home. You are utilizing the shadowing technique with One Goal English deep dives every day. You are standing in your room reading articles out loud to train your jaw muscles. You are running the Thinking in English protocol, narrating your morning coffee routine, naming the objects in your house, bypassing the translation factory.
You are building the engine and filling the tank where no one can judge you. Then, in weeks 3 and 4, you step into the public phase. This is where you enter the arena. You take that newly minted confidence and expose it to the real world. You download a language exchange application. You make an unbreakable commitment to engage in a 10-minute live voice call with a native speaker 3 times a week. You leave thoughtful comments on English videos. You go to a local market and initiate a conversation. You force the integration.
It is a phenomenal evidence-based blueprint for long-term acquisition. But looking at a 30-day horizon can sometimes feel overwhelming. So we need to shrink the timeline. What does this all mean for the listener right now today? What is the immediate call to action?
I am so glad you asked because we are throwing down a massive, relentless 7-day challenge for you right now. We do not want you to wait until tomorrow. We want action today. Here is your exact mission parameter for the next week. Day 1. The moment this audio ends, I want you to walk into your bathroom, stand in front of the mirror, lock eyes with your own reflection, and speak out loud in English for 1 continuous minute. Talk about what you ate for lunch, talk about your dog, talk about your fears. Just break the silence out loud.
Day 2. The shadowing execution. Put your headphones on, pull up a native dialogue, and find 5 specific lexical chunks. Pause the audio and repeat them out loud. Mimic the emotion, the speed, and the pitch perfectly until you feel the physical sensation of fluent speech.
Day 3. The internal monologue shift. Engage the Thinking in English protocol during your daily chores. When you are folding laundry or doing the dishes, become the narrator. Describe every physical action you are taking out loud in English. Stop the native language translation in its tracks.
Day 4. Expanding the toolkit. Write down 3 new emergency phrases from today, like "I didn't quite catch that" or "take your time," and practice them until they flow off your tongue without a single second of hesitation.
Day 5. Entering the social risk zone. Open your messaging app and leave a voice note in English for a friend or a language partner. Do not type it. Force yourself to record your actual voice, hit send, and let go of the need to be perfect.
Day 6. The real-world test. Walk into a coffee shop, a grocery store, or a local business, look the clerk in the eye, and use a simple, confident greeting. "Hello, how's your day going?" Deliver with a smile and walk away victorious.
And finally, Day 7, the ultimate proof. Set your phone up on your desk, hit record, and film a 2-minute video of yourself speaking English. Talk about the journey of this week. Then watch that video back. And here's the rule. You are not allowed to judge your grammar. You watch that video and you feel an overwhelming, undeniable sense of pride that you actually showed up, opened your mouth, and communicated.
Let us distill everything we have unpacked in this deep dive into a few core, unshakable philosophies. I want these truths to anchor you whenever you feel the panic rising. Remember this: confidence is not a trophy handed to you when you become perfect. It is the raw fuel you choose to pour into your tank today. Communicating your ideas and connecting with another human being is infinitely more important than maintaining flawless syntax. Your accent is a beautiful testament to your journey. Do not hide it. Mistakes are not failures. They are the chemical highlighters that build your brain. Embrace them, chase them, and if the words ever fail you, pivot, talk around them, but never, ever let the fear force you back into silence.
You are embarking on a profoundly beautiful, life-altering journey right now. I need you to truly feel the weight of that. Learning English is not a sterile academic exercise. It is not about passing a proficiency test so you can get a piece of paper. This language is a master key. It unlocks the entire globe. It grants you the ability to step off a plane on almost any continent and navigate the streets. It gives you the power to sit across a table from someone born 10,000 miles away from a completely different culture and understand their soul. And most importantly, it gives you the platform to share your unique heart, your brilliant ideas, and your specific humor with the rest of humanity. Do not allow the temporary fear of a misplaced verb to build a cage around your potential. Do not keep your voice locked inside because you are waiting for a perfect day that will never come. The world is actively waiting to hear what you have to say. We need your voice, so be incredibly brave. Be wonderfully messy. Jump headfirst into the chaotic waters. Speak loudly. And above all else, be deeply, intensely proud of yourself for choosing to begin today.
We want to express our deepest gratitude to you for dedicating your time, your focus, and your energy to unpacking this immense topic with us today on One Goal English. Keep pushing your boundaries. Keep training your muscles out loud every single day. Forgive your stumbles the moment they happen, and stay ruthlessly focused on your one goal. You have absolutely got the power to do this. But before we sign off, I want to leave you with one final provocative thought to turn over in your mind as you step back into your life today.
Leave us with something powerful.
Think about exactly where you are standing right now. Think about the specific fears that have kept you quiet, the hesitations that have held you back. Now visualize what happens if you accept our challenge. Imagine that you make the concrete choice to be unapologetically messy, to collect mistakes like data points, and to be completely fearless starting this very millisecond. If you commit to that choice today, what incredible life-changing conversation with what fascinating stranger in what distant, beautiful corner of the world is waiting for you exactly 1 year from today.